welcome back to Bagare, and in this video we are back with another Angular tutorial where we'll be cloning the CBDX template that we got from Webflow. So what we'll be building right here is this products page. So merely we'll be focusing on this section, right, where we've got this header, which is the products, this description. We'll be coding out these tabs, right, and then the actual products that we'll be actually rendering in this page. So now the idea is we'll have these tabs as like some sort of like a component. Then moving forth over here, we'll then have these actual cards, right, storing our product as another component. So yeah, with all that being said, please guys don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now let's get to the dev part. So alright guys, so we've got our project set up for us already. So let me just go through a quick explanation of the folders that we have prepped up. So we've got our themes folder here, and we've got these themes.scss. So here we've got these color palettes that we're going to use, the font sizes, together with the spacings and the box shadow. So these are actually like our CSS variables that we're going to be using. So and then here in the apps, we've got the apps folder. This gets auto generated for you when you actually create the project. And we also have this assets folder where we have our images that we're going to be using in our project. And then out here we've got this mark folder which stores this products.json. So this products.json is going to act like a mimic of like some sort of like our database, and we're going to have like some sort of a service and just mimic an API call to retrieve this data from our mimicked database basically. So yeah, let's now close that and actually now create folders that we're actually going to need in this product. So we had mentioned that we're going to need components. So in this apps folder, we're going to create another folder here, which is the components folder, right? So and then another folder in the apps folder, which is going to be pages folder, right? So now the components folder is going to store our components, and our pages folder is going to store our pages. So now what we want to do is actually now cd into our components, cd into our source app /components folder, right? So here we want to generate ng generate component, which is gonna be our category tab component, right? So that's got generated for us. And then another thing that we would want to generate is our product card page, right, over here. So ng generate card page, right? So this page over here will actually be the card for our product card, right? ng generate product card, right? So now Angular has generated both those components, right? So now we would want to cd out into this folder, and then we would want to cd into our pages folder. So in this pages folder, we'd want to create this product page, right? So we would ng generate the products page, right? So this will be our products component, right? Yeah, it is the products component, right? So with that being done over there, and then now actual thing that we'd want to then create out there is actually this component, right? So how we're gonna go about that, not actually the component, sorry, my bad, I meant to say like we're gonna be creating our route, right? So we'll come here in this app.route, right? And then we'll set up like this default route to our pages folder. So let's first run this project by ngserve, right? So I can show you what I actually mean. So let me save and let's go to this page over here, right? So this is our website, right? So initially we got nothing showing, right? So so in the apps.html we've got just this router outlet, right? So now let's now go back to this apps route page, and then we'll create our actual route. So the path to that route will be an empty path, which will then point to this default path, and then our component that we want to show will be our products page. So this is products component, right? So now if we are about to see what we have, we'll have this products works meant to say. Sorry, my bad, I don't know what's going on with me today. All right, cool down. So now we have generated or actually rendered our products page, right? So what we'll then want to first now do is actually come to this page right there and actually create our tabs. Should we actually start with our tabs? Yeah, so let's start with creating these tabs. So let's go to the category tabs component, right? So if we want to go back to this actual pages, right? And then we were like, let's clear this out and actually render our app this category tabs, right? Let's actually render that and see what goes on. So here we'll have this category tab works, right? So now we see that that component is not working. So now let's do some changes to it, right? So what we first want to do is actually have like a category tab, right? Category tab container. Do you want to call it container? Right? You can just literally call your divs anything, right? So what another thing that we'd want to do is actually, we know that here we'd want to have like a tab, and then we'll want to have a name for that tab, right? But this tab will be some sort of like an input coming from our parents component and actually rendering the name of that tab in this child component, right? So what we'll do to ensure that that works, we'll have to have this input, right, which will allow us to pass our data from the parent component to the child component, and we'll call this tab and then just give it of type any, right? All right, so now we have that working, right? But now we see that we don't have any errors now, but if you go to our actual component, we can't actually see anything. So how we'll go about actually now fixing that is going to our pages folder and actually creating these tabs over here, right? So initially we'll start by just creating a tab object, right? And then just call this tab wake, because that first tab that we had was wake, right? So now if we go back here and then come to this component and actually pass something into this category, oh, we called it tab, right? So we'll pass it tab, right? And then now we'll see this wake, right? But that has no meaning, or it's not looking all nice. So now we'll need to now jump into our categories CSS, so SCSS, right? Folder. Let me just extend that a bit so you can see what I'm actually doing. So first thing that we want to do is actually import our themes folder, right? So that we can actually use our CSS variables that are stored in the themes.scss, right? So we'll go to our source themes, right? And then /themes.scss, right? Close that tag, right? Then the first thing that we want to style over here is actually this, right, which is our category tabs container, right? So what do we want to do here? We want to add some padding to it, right? We'd want to set the top and bottom padding to this main padding, right? So main padding and the left and right to actually, so left and right will be, I think it's secondary padding, right? Secondary padding. Let's see if secondary padding is like 20. So yeah, we want that and that, right? So that will add some bit of some padding to actually this component itself, right? So if we made this background to actually black, I want you to see what's actually happening, right? So we have that, right? Which is not looking all good, right? So let's now set this to like primary. So this will be set to this primary color, right? And then now we see that we've got 10 and 20, right? But now we want to set the width of this actual component to actually be to fit the content, right? So if it fits the content, now we see that we've got this nice looking square that's got like our actual it has our actual text, right? This tab. So now we want to add some color to it, which is giving it just a white color, right? So after giving it this whitish color, we'd also want to add some border, right? But nah, white is not the solution for us. So what I would want to do is say set the background to actually white, and then set the color of this to this blackish color, color, and then our border will actually be 1 pixel. Make it solid, a solid border, and add some secondary color, right? Secondary color, let's see. Yeah, wanted to add some secondary color to it. And then what we then want to also do is actually ensure that we add like a box shadow, which is this box shadow, right? So that's saved now. Now we see that we've got a nice looking card, right? But now this is not actually doing anything, because now what we see here is that upon hovering it, this text color actually changes, and actually this border as well also changes, right? So how we'll go about achieving that is actually coming here and adding like an on hover, right? So we say, and if we on a hover effect, we'd wanna change the cursor to pointer and actually say the border color, right? We'll set that to this primary color, and the color of the text should be primary color. This primary color, right? And then another thing we'll want to have there is actually the text font size, right? So the font size for this will actually be font 16, right? All right. So before we actually see that, there's something that I forgot to actually show you from the actual setup, right? So here in our global styles, what I've set up for you is actually the margin to 0, right? Have the box shadow to border box, padding is 0, and actually font family is that manrope, that, and then I just imported that from the Google's API, right? Google Fonts. So if I close that, think I've saved and actually show you now, right? So we said upon hovering, now we can see now a change in that text and actually the change in the border, right? So I guess that's working right now, which is actually like a good thing, right? That we've got something working, right? So what we then want to do over here is actually say this in our pages, right? We'll want to have this product container, right? Want to have this product container, right? In this product container, we've got some sort of like a product header section, right? Which should be a div, right? So this product header section will contain our actual header, which is like that product, and then it will also contain like these the description. Then underneath that it would be like this tabs, category tabs, right? So what we want to have right there is actually this product, right? Then underneath there would want to have like that long description, which we're just gonna copy from there, over there, right? So we'll just copy from this, go back to our page and actually paste it here, right? Okay, so now we'll call this class description. This will be like our product description, and this will be our product title. Products, or we can just call this title. I think title won't be a bad name, right? So that will be fine. And then right here in like the bottom of that, we'll actually have our category. This is category section, right? So in this category section, this is actually where we'll be storing our actual categories, right? For now, let's just have all those three rendering there so we can actually apply some sort of styling to it, right? So now let's see what we actually have. Right. So what we have over here is actually this, which needs to go away. And then we've got product description and actually these tabs, right? So now let's go fix some styling. So this needs to go away, right? If we save that, so now what we would want to do is actually have this products category, this products container. So this will go in here, the s.scss. So want to import from //source themes.scss, right? So this will be products container, and then in this product container we'll set this width, right, to be 100%. All right. So and then another thing is we'd want to have our product header section, right? That's gonna be the product header section. Yeah, that's about fine. Then in there we've got this title section over here, which its font size will actually be font size 54. If not mistaken, there is a 54, yeah. So it is font size 54. Save that guy over there. After having that font size of 54, think then underneath that we'll have this product description, right? So this section over here will actually have a font size of 18. So this would be font 18, right? Save that, and then here we'll give it some sort of like a color to it, which will be a grayish color, right? We'll give this that blackish color. So color for this will be set it to this blackish color right here, right? So that's set up for us. Now let's see what we have. So we've got that looking all nice, I guess. So what we then want to do is actually set the margin margin that will make 8 pixels margin bottom. So we'll just make the margin bottom to 8 pixels. And then what we'll then also want to do is actually now set up how this thing is actually going to be showing. So if we come right here, we want these guys to be showing like some sort of in a, we'll say flex basically, but then we want them showing underneath each other, right? So even flex, let's see, we'll see we'll see which one we can go with, right? So the first thing that we want to do is actually say set the text align to center, right? So let's see what we have. We've got the text align to center, and then we'd want to have our category section, right, which will set its display to flex, flex wrap to no wrap, because we just want to have it just in one line. Text align, if we have the text align to center, let's see if that's gonna work for us. Text align center is not working. All right, so what do we want to do here? We want to say justify our content to center, right? And then we want to set some sort of like a padding, right? We want to set some sort of like spacing between these actual tabs. So let's see what we have right here, right? We've got that, but we want to add some spacing between these actual tabs, right? So the spacing between these tabs, we can accomplish this by having the column gap to set that to 20. So that will be some sort of secondary padding, right? So now let's see what we have. We've got this nice looking space, right? So that's done for us. So what else do we want to do? We want to actually set some sort of like a width or a width to this header section, right? So how we do that is actually set that to probably 70%. Want to set it to 70%. Let's see what we have. If we set it to 70%, that's fine. And then we want to set this display to flex, right? Because we want to display everything to flex, justify our content to center. Let's see what we'll have. So that's looking fine, right? But we'd want to ensure that it is actually fine. So we'll actually set our flex direction to column. So what this flex direction column is actually orientate our display of this product container to be vertically aligned, right? So if we want it to be vertically aligned, now check. If we want it to be vertically aligned and we want to set this card to the center, we actually want to change now from justify content to align item, right? Align items to center. So that will then nicely put them in the center right there, right? So another thing that we now see is that, okay, we did create our actual component, but now what we actually then want to do is actually set some sort of like an output, right? When we actually click on some sort of like an actual tab, right? So how we do that, how the child component can actually output something to the parent component, we'll need to use this output, right? And then we'll call this click action or tab. Nah, click action. It's not the best name, but I guess it's something. So we'll use an event emitter, right? But you should choose it from the Angular / core, right? And then that will be equal to a new event emitter, right? But now there's something that would probably give us like an issue, right? We would want to return of type any, right? So now we'll say get press event, right? So how we get this click event, we would want to then want to get a tab action. Tab action. Let's actually call this also a tab action instead of just click, right? So what we want to do with this tab action is actually emit something, right? So what are we going to be emitting is this object, right? So we'll be emitting this tabs object, right? So now that's fine since we've emitted like this tab object, right? So now what do we want to do moving forth from here, right? Is actually coming to our parent component that's actually rendering this component and actually see what's going to happen. So this tab action, we want to get the handle, just handle a tab click, right? And then we want to pass in this event, right? So the event is actually going to be the output from the child component, right? So we'll then copy this and paste it right here, right? Have this method, and then we'll just want to console.log. And then what do we want to log with this is actually this event that we're getting from our child component, right? Event event which is of type any. Then we just want to console log this event, right? So with that being done, let's now close everything and save all. Why do I keep on going there? Now let's go to our console. I'm going to show you because this is attached to the first button, right? So when we click on this guy over here, okay, why aren't we actually getting anything? Is our thingy even running? Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So this is what we're getting from actually doing a click event. So what I didn't do is actually set up this click so that when we click, we want to call this get tab action, right? So this get tab action. So when we click on this, it should actually like output this from the child's component, right? So we have that actually working now, right? But now the next thing is actually now displaying all this dynamically, right? So how we go about doing that is actually now changing tab to tabs. So we'll equate that. Well, I like having this, setting it the type to any. Then what we'll have in these tabs is actually like an array of tabs, right? So we could have like some sort of like an ID, which we're not going to use at this instance. Can have a name over here, which will be wake, right? That's the first one. We'll have some sort of an active state, which is just a boolean. That will be false for everyone as we start off, right? And then copy these guys, right? Over here, copy that. Then we want to paste that and paste that again. So the second one will be 2. Then that's focus, and then the last one will be sleep, right? And then we'll just call that 3, right? So what we want to do now is actually display these actual tabs dynamically. So how we'll achieve that is actually running an ng4. This ng4 will say let a tab of tabs. So we'd want to remove this tab, right? Let tab of tabs. Don't know if that makes sense, right? And then we'll be just passing in this tab, right? So what we'll have over here is actually all of these, right? These guys over here. So when you click that, we click that, and we actually click that, we'll actually have an output of whatever we're clicking, right? But we do know that what we actually want is when we come up here is that when we click a specific tab, right, we actually want to change its active state to actually true. So how we can go about doing that is actually saying that this event, right, this event dot active state, we want to set that to true, right? Alright, so we're passing in that, and then from that event we wanna set its active state to actually true, right? So let's see how that will work out. So I wanna set its actual active state to true, right? Was I right by that? Alright, so wait, let's check out something, right? So what we want to do is actually saying upon clicking it, we want to also keep track of an index right here, right? So this index here will be coming from this let I equals to index, because we want to change a specific tab, right, in this tabs array. So we'll come right here, right, and have this index tag, index, right, which is coming from this number, right? So in these tabs, so we'll get that from that index, right? So we need to have this dot tabs, right? And then we'll set its active state equals to true, right? So that's fine, right? So another thing that we first want to do is actually set all of the other ones to actually false. So how we do that is actually run a for loop, because now what we want to have, okay, let me first demo this, right? So what we want to have with these tabs, right, is actually say that when we click this guy, we want to change it to actually be true, right? And when we click this other guy, we want to change it to be true. And when we click this other guy, we want to change its state to be true, right? But now, currently, we're not actually doing anything or actually seeing what's going on, right? So the best possible way is actually to console.log these this dot tabs dot index, right? So we can see the change of that active state. So when you click this one, its active state is changed to true. When you click this one, it's changed to true. That other one is also changed to true. But you might now ask yourself, what are we doing with this true state, right? So what we want to achieve with that is actually check if it's active and actually now change the color of this actual tabs container, right? So how we can go about doing that is having an ng class, which is gonna say now tabs. So we wanna say active tab, right? Wanna change this to be an active tab, or wanna append this class, which is gonna be called active tab when the tab dot active is true. When tab.active is true, we want to append this active class, right? So how we go about then doing that is when we check over here, right? Say we come in here and we're inspecting this element, right? What you can see right here is just this tabs, right? But now when we click on it, we see that we're appending this active tab into this tabs container, right? So now let's go back over here and actually do something to the CSS, right? So what we want to do is say active tab when we've got this active tab, right? That's what I called it. Oh, let me just copy this. Tend to forget quickly. So let's now paste that over there. So we want to change now its background color to be this primary color, right? Okay, first let's see from the designs, because so that you see what we're actually doing. So what they did out here is that when they actually clicked on this, right, they actually got this tab to actually be that primary color and actually changed the text to something else, right? Which is what we also want to do, right? Now what did I do? Okay, yeah, I think, okay, that's fine. And then what we then want to do is actually change the color to that, and then also change the background, the color to the text, to this whitish color, this white color. And then also change the font size to probably 600. I don't know if that's gonna work out for us, right? So now we know that we've changed that guy over there, right? And then we'll say the border radius, no, border color, right? We want to change the border color to actually be our primary color as well, right? So now let's see what we have. So if we come right here and click that, click that, click that, we see now that all of these actual things are changing. But now what we have over here is that, okay, upon hovering this, we'd want to also change upon hovering, right? So when we hover, right, so we say we'll also have this hover, right? Then we'd want to change our color to just stay as white. Guess that's fine. No, this will be this white color. Right. So when we click on this guy, we'll have that. We click on that one, we have that, and we click on that one, we've got that, right? Which is also console logging this. But this is not also the right approach, because now what we're then doing is now all of our tabs are just agreed, which we just don't actually want to do, right? So how we go about fixing that is actually saying that, okay, after actually clicking on this, we have to first deactivate all our tabs, right? Our active tabs. So for loop, we'll have let tab of this dot tabs, right? Dot tabs, right? So if let's see. So firstly, what we'd want to do is actually say that these tab, right, this tab dot active state, we want to set that to false, right? So that everything can be false and just the one that we're changing can change its state to be active, right? So now when we test it out, is that this page is now this wake is active, that's active, that's active, right? So moving back to our designs over here, we see that when they hover on an actual one, right, we are actually getting this hover effect, but on the ones that are not active, that's where we're getting this hover effect, right? So let's now go back to our category tabs, right, and actually say that if this guy is not active, we want to set our transform, right, and translate y to actually be minus. Is it minus? No. We'll just say 5 pixels just to give it some sort of like that hover, right? And then let's test it out, right? Let's test it out, right? Yeah, that is actually giving some sort of a hover to it, right? And then we'd want to say transform to 0.5 milliseconds, right? And then just ease that. Let's see. Now that's pretty too fast for us. Just set that to all, and then set this to like 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, that does give it this hover, right? But when it's active, it's also giving it that hover, which we just don't want, right? So what we'll say is actually this, is that if this thing is active, we don't actually want to hover. So just set this to 0 pixels. And yeah, let's see now. Okay, if it's active, then we just don't want to hover, We just want to hover on the ones that are just not active, right? Okay, so now that's working out for us. So now our next thing is actually saying, because now what they're doing is when we run this shops, right, we got this product, but when we actually click on it, we have this wake product. When we click on that, I guess we've got focus product, and yeah, moving forth, right? So what we'll do to, in order for us to actually show that, is actually coming here, all right, and then having some sort of like text, right? Wait, these are products, and then this is going to be called header text. Not the best name, but it will do the trick, I guess. So we'll have this header text, right, over here, which will just be a string of type string, and then initially on its initial state it will just be an empty string, but when we're done clicking, we want to say this dot header text, right, to actually be this from the tabs dot name, right? Or we can just say from this actual event that we're getting back dot name, right? So what we'll have there is actually saying that when we click on this one, that will change, that will change, that will change. And yeah, that's how it's just gonna work. All right, so that also worked out for us. Now let's clear this guy. Now we've already done our actual tabs, right? What we'll need to do is actually commit our code, created the category tabs component, and uh, rendered it on the products page, right? Let's just commit that, push that, right? Okay, that's fine over there, right? Now let's move on to something else. So now what we also want to now create is actually now this cards component, right? So how we'll go about actually creating this cards component here, we'll have this product card, right? So we'll have a dot product card, right? And then now for product card, what we'll actually have is actually an image. That's like the first thing that we'll want to have is image, and where this image is going to come from is that forward slash that from our asset forward slash image, and then just give it oil that, right? And then we'll just call it a product image, right? Think that does the trick, because what we want to have is actually this first cardish image, right, which is that image, and then underneath that we'll just want to have like a card content, right? For the card content, what we want to have is actually this first guy over here, which will be our product um, product name. Yeah, because this is just a product name, right? This will be our product name, and then our p tag will actually be let's see, this will be our description, right? So this will be our product description, right? And then we'll also have this product class, which will also be product price, right? And then now let's render our data in there, right? So here we'll have like some sort of like a lorem 20. I think lorem 20 will do the trick. Then we'll just call this guy product for now, right? And then for pricing, what we'll want to have over there is actually just say $12.00, right? USD, and yeah, I'm South African, but that UI says dollars, so we'll just use dollars instead of rands. Don't kill me, guys. So let's see what we actually have. Oh, we didn't render that actual component, right? So over here, what we want to do is actually go to this products page, right? And actually have this product section. Yeah, and where we're gonna have this app and then this product card. Alright, so now let's see what we actually have. So we've got no worries. Yeah, now we've got why do I keep on doing the same thing, right? So now we've got this product showing, which actually then has our actual product price and our actual price, right? So first thing that we want to fix, right, is us coming here, right? So the first thing that we want to fix in our product card, let me just close this guy, right? First thing that we want to fix in our products card, let me close this pages, come here, products card is actually this, because we see that there it was just showing 12 dollars, but we don't have the cents showing, right? And then how we're gonna go about fixing that is using this pipe, right? So how we're gonna pipe is actually using number, right? And then we're gonna use this, that one dot, if we've got two decimals, right, two, right, and then this will resolve our issue, right? So now the pricing has all that nice look to it. And now let's go to actually styling these cards and everything else, right? So what we first want to do is actually import. What are we importing? / source themes, and then these are our themes.scss, right? So now we've got this product container, right? Think so. I think this is this is a product card. Yeah, I'm used to making my first div product container. So this is going to be product card. So in the products card, what we have is our image, right? And underneath our image, what we have is actually that card.card content, right? So what we want to have for that image section is actually having its width to be 100%, and then its height to actually be 100%, right? So that's fine. No, the height we want it to be 363 pixels, right? That will be the height of the actual image, right? So we'll have it to that. Alright, that's working out for us, I guess. So in this card's content, what we have is our product name, right? So our product name will actually have font size, right? And then the font size will be that font size 22. Does that even exist? Yeah, font size 22, right? And then we have our product description and that, right? So this guy over here will have a color, right, which is just a blackish color, because we want to give it a blackish color. But now we're gonna have a product description, right, which is gonna have a size of 18, right? And then our color over there will be that grayish color, grayish color. I don't know if I spelled that right. I think that's still running. Let's see if we don't have any errors. Okay, yeah, we don't have any errors. And then here we'll have our product price, and our product price has to have our primary color, right? So let's see, got that showing, right? So what do they have over here? We've got that, and that. So we also have all these nice looking UI to it, right? But we do have to make some sort of changes to this, right? This price will actually be 22. I think 22 is fine for that price. And then our price needs to have a font weight of 600. Right, so our price has a font weight of 600. And then now what we then want to now do is actually set that card spacing, right? Because here we want to set some sort of like a margin top to it, right? So margin top of 32 pixels. So 32 pixels to add in some spacing between those two texts. So that's looking all nice over here. So let's now go about actually displaying it in our products page, right? So in our products page, say now we've got 3 of those items, right? 3, because we want to display actually 3 in our row, right? So how will that look, right? So currently we don't have any stylings to that, right? So which is something we're going to be adding now, right? So let's copy this product section, go to our products.scss, right? And actually paste this product section, right? So what do we want to have on this product section, right? So we know that we want to set this thing to actually flex. So we have everything set up in the one row. It's flex wrap. We want to set that to wrap, right? So let's see what we have. Yeah, right? So that's then rendering, right? And then what we also know, that we want to display in there is actually having that all, right? I don't know if this one's gonna work. Right, so what we want to do is set the width, right, of that to a calc, right? So we want to calculate the width, but there is a trick in this calculating of this width, right? Because we want to set it to be 3 pixels, right? We want to set it to be let me first do this, 100. Want to set that to be 100, which is 100% of that divided by 3, right? So if we say 100% divided by 3, let me see if I have this. Oh yeah, that's displaying in one way. At least that works, right? If we say 100% divided by 3, then it will divide like this whole 100% into 3, right? Which then will have it in one row. But now, what we want to do is actually set our column or our gap. Our gap will actually be 23. Our gap will be 23 pixels, right? So we want to have a 23 pixels from the left for the columns and for the rows, right? But now what we see is as soon as we add in this 23 pixels, now what it's actually then doing, it's actually taking the state component to the bottom, because now we had set this wrap, flex wrap to wrap, right? But if we didn't set that to wrap, it wouldn't send it to the bottom, right? But one would argue that, okay, we have solved it, but now the issue comes with the fact that when we actually now display more, we've got this weird looking UI, right? So how we fix this guy over here, now I stopped that. How we fix something like that is actually still going back to this text wrap to wrap, right? But now we want to calculate something into it, right? And then so we're gonna nest our calc. So we're gonna calc again. So now we've got this 100% divided by 3 to actually now display 3 divs in one row, right? And then we want to minus that by 23 pixels times 2, right? So why are we saying 20 pixels times 2? Minus. Yeah. So why are we saying 20 pixels times 2? That's because we want to have 20 pixel spacing over here and another 20 pixel spacing over there, right? So that's why we're saying 22 times another 22, right? Alright, so another thing that we then want to do is actually now say that in this, since we've done everything, we would then want to just display our products section in the middle. So how we do that is just say justify our content to, justify content to center, right? So by justifying the content to center, that will just nicely align the stuff. Right. So, and then we'd want to add some bit of some margin to the top. So we'll just say margin top of that, and then we'll set that to like 48 pixels. 48 pixels. Right. Let me see if we don't have that 48 spacing. Yeah, we don't have. So we can just set that there to have just a nice spacing, right, between those three, right? So now we see we've got our products looking all fine, and we actually now have our actual text showing as well, right? Um, so why do I keep on going out of this page, right? Local host that, right? So we've got all these products actually showing, but we're not done yet, right? Because we said we're gonna now mimic some sort of like an API call to our, so we can get data from our database, which is that products.json, right? So how we going to go about achieving that goal is actually by coming here in this folder, which is our apps folder, and create another folder right here, which is going to be our services, right? This will store our services. So in our services, then we'd want to like stop the project, clear the console, and actually now cd out of the pages and cd in into our services, right? So we'd want to generate a service, ng generate service, and then this service we'll call it our product service, right? This will be our product service, right? So Angular will then generate our product service for us, right? So what we want to do right here is actually now have this private HTTP client. We want to use this HTTP client, right? Which would then be from this HTTP, right? Over there. So let's try and run it. ng serve. This is potentially gonna give us an error. That's one thing I can say. Alright. But now what we wanna do is actually get products. We wanna get our products, right? So this get product has to return this .http.get, right? Because we want to get something from this HTTP. But now since we're not getting it from an external endpoint, so what we'll be doing right there is actually having this, right? So we want to get it from our assets, assets folder / mark, because we're coming from the assets folder mark, and then in our mark folder we'll actually get from our file name. So our file name will be actually like the name of like some sort of like the endpoint we'll be calling, right? So here we'll just call it name, and then we can just pass it that, or we can just write on the get-go the name of that, right? Component, so this will be called file name .json, right? This will be the file name .json, right? So we'll then go to our products page, right? In our products page, upon loading, we want to have, okay, first I need to import or inject this product service service, right, which is from this product, from our product service, right? So this is coming from our product service, right? So what we want to do is say product service dot get product, but where are we getting it from? We are getting it from that product, right? So we just say product, right? We don't need to say .json because on our service we already had the .json, right? So let's quickly check. We had this .json. Now what we then want to do is actually now then subscribe to this method. Want to subscribe to the method and actually now get our data any, right, which will then equate to this. Want to console.log our data, right? And then we'll also want to cater for when we do encounter like some sort of like an error, type any, and then we want to just console log our error, right? So we'll then say console log our error if there is some sort of like an error or something, right? So what we then wanna have over there is this guy, this, that, this, that. Why do we need this form builder, right? So that's fine over there. But now we see that nothing is actually rendering, which then resulted in this error that we have, right? So in this error over here, we've got this null injector error, which is coming from some sort of this app module, this HTTP client, right? Which it doesn't know where it's coming from, right? But now, how to go about fixing this issue is actually, why did I even open Visual Studio, right? How to go about fixing this issue is actually coming to our apps.module, right? Now I need to close this guy, and I need to close this guy, right? It's actually coming to our apps.modules folder and actually importing like our HTTP client module, right? Right, so how we go about importing that module is coming to the import, then we want to import our HTTP client module, right, which is coming from this Angular slash common slash HTTP client module is what we want to have, right? So now we see now that we're back, right? All our products are rendering and we don't have an issue. But now we see that we're getting this array, which is something that we actually did want, right, to get. So what we're having here over here is actually this category, the description, the image, the name of the product, and actually the price of that product, right? So nice, that's brilliant because we actually did achieve something, right? So now I can actually now close everything up, come here to this page, and actually see that from this data we'd want to have like some sort of like products. This will be like some sort of like a product. So these will be our products, which is any, and then we'll just initialize it to just empty array, right? This dot products, right, will equal to our data, right, that we're getting from this API, right? And then after getting that from there, what is the subscribe method, which is weird why it's scratched out, but it's working. I don't know. Or you can use this to promise, but subscribe is kind of better. So after there is we would want to go to our product HTML, right, and actually now pass in our actual products to these page, right? But how we actually pass in like input from our parent component to this child component, we actually need to have an input in our component. So in a products card, we need to have like some sort of like this input, right? So we'll have this at input, which is gonna bring in a product of type any, right? And from this product of which is of type any, what we'll need here is this product dot name, so we can pass in the name for that. Now I need to clear that. Yeah, wasn't actually a good idea adding this lorem text, because now it's a problem having to like remove it. So yeah, this is what I want to have, right? Then over here I want to have this product dot description, right? Product dot description. Okay, that will now render our products dot description. We want to remove this and just say product dot price, not mistaken, right? And that will also have our products dot price. We want to remove this guy over here and actually say that this will be product dot image, right? Then guess I can also give this the products dot name, product dot name, right? Okay, that's fine. But when we actually go to our HTML, we're not actually seeing anything, right? Because we haven't necessarily passed in anything into this component, right? So now what we actually want to do is actually coming here over here into this products page.html and actually passing in here, like literally dynamically rendering it, right? So we'll want to clear this first, right? And come here and enter this ng4, right? Dot ng4. In this ng4 will let our product of products, right? And then we want to pass in some sort of like a product, which is going to be from this product, right? So let me just call this item so that it just doesn't strike confusion. So we want to pass in this item, right, into our product input, right? So if we go back there, now we see that we've got like our different data like rendering, right? So now let me close this guy over there. So now we've got this nice looking UI to it, right? Then when we click this, it's gonna say wake up. When we click that, it's gonna have the focus, and when we click that, it's gonna have some sort of like the sleep, right? Sleep product. But I mean, at this stage, yes, we do have, it seems like we do have our product, and it is actually changing to actually something. But now the issue comes with the fact that as we click into this, it's not actually filtering our data, right? That is the word I wanted. We were creating like some sort of like filter tabs. Alright, so how we can go about doing this is actually setting up a temporary variable, right? We can have like this sort of like a temporary variable that's gonna say that every time we actually click our tab, right, we'll actually then clear or filter this product array to whatever we actually have. I don't know if that also is making sense. So how we go about doing it is we're gonna have this temp products, right? So this temp product is also gonna be like an array, right? But this array of temp products will actually store like all our products, right? So as we retrieve our products, right, we'll have this temp product, right, which will then equal to dot dot data, right? Right? So now what we'll be doing is as we click, we'll actually be filtering this product, right? And then how we'll be filtering this product, we'll be filtering that product from this temporary products, because this will have all our store, right, of data. So let me like show you like a representation of this. So say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This will be everything, right? But now if we want to filter out 2, right? So this temp this product, right, will filter from this. So if you want to say 2 will come from this store, which is this, and actually just pick up 2, so that in our product we'll actually now have 2, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Right, so how we can go about doing that is actually coming down here and actually saying this dot product, right, will actually equal to this dot temp product dot filter, right? So how are we gonna go about filtering, right? So we want to filter our product, right? We want to filter our product, or we can call filter our data, which is of type any, right? But how our filter is, it's gonna be where our product, right, dot name, no, category, it's products dot category dot to lower case, right, because I want to have it to a lower case, and then is equal to, or dot includes, because I want to see if it includes whatever I'm getting back from this actual tab, right, which is from this event dot name dot to lower case, right? So this is what I want to have, right? So what will then happen is, let's now go about testing it, right? So when I click on wake up, it should have that. When I click on focus, it should have 1 product. When I click on that, it should have actually 3. But what actually happened with focus? So I had 1 product there in focus, right? I had 1 product, but let's actually inspect what actually happened. This is interesting. What's actually happening? So this over there, and that's set up to the center, right? So actually spacing it out into those 2 wasn't necessarily like a good idea, if I could say. Okay, let's now see. If I set that to 100, let's see, that will just set the image to 100, right? Okay, now let's now inspect this product section, and then if I set that to that, and if this width was 100%, right, so we'll have this nice looking product. So what we had over there is that we didn't set the width of this product section, right? So we can come here to the product section and just say width of that should be 100%, right? So what we'll have is, when we click wake up, we'll have all our product. When you click focus, we'll just have our focus, right? And then when we click on actually this sleep, it will just bring us our sleep product. So now we see that our filter is actually working, right? Let's see. I guess that thing is working over there, right? And then if we just refresh there, then we've got everything showing. So I guess we are actually done, although we didn't add in like more stuff to it. I guess we'll be adding more on like videos, upcoming videos, to actually like improve this. But in terms of creating this product page, we are done actually with this UI, or this clone of the CBDX website. So if we click over here, we'll get that with the nice animation that we didn't do. And then if we click on the sleep, it will do that. If we click on that other one, we'll also get those products right over there. So yeah guys, with all that being said, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Peace.